Like it was still controlling me when I left because I felt like I had to stay anonymous. A lot of us have a lot of those emotions, especially the guilt. The guilt can run really deep after we leave AA. And so I think we should be celebrated. I think it's tremendously courageous. So if you left AA, I'm clapping for you right now. Go ahead, clap for yourself. Let's do this. Let's fucking celebrate this. It's safe to trust yourself. If your gut says that you can leave, then you can trust that. If you're scared and need help in that process, get a therapist. Welcome to the Sobriety Bestie podcast. This is Kirsten, your host and your friend on this adventure that we're doing right now called the Daily Dogma Detox, where we are talking all of the deprogramming Alcoholics Anonymous things. Today, we're going to be talking about graduating from recovery. I feel like this is the phase of addiction, of alcohol addiction recovery that nobody will talk about. And I think it's a very important phase. And I think it's something to be celebrated. I really do. And I don't think that should be controversial. I think we should be loud and proud about it. Just like there's a graduation from high school in America and there's a graduation from college in America or university, I think there should be a celebration, a graduation from drinking, right? That's getting sober, and a graduation celebration from leaving recovery, like you finished your recovery from addiction and you celebrated and you can move on with your life. Now, I don't know if everybody can graduate from recovery. I am not a doctor. I'm not your doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a mental health practitioner. I'm a chick on the podcast sharing my experience about what I really think about this. And quick backstory is I got sober in 2009. I was in AA for 10 years and I left AA 5 years ago. So I had 10 years in, 5 years out. And when I left AA in my deprogramming process, I hit the books hard. I studied all things. I took every course I could find, every online course I could find that therapists take about addiction and recovery and trauma and all the things that had to do with addiction on any level, because I wanted to see what was the current teachings for the people who help folks like us, right, in sobriety. And I wanted to know, what are they learning? What's the current the vibe on all this? What are the things? And through everything that I researched, and it was a lot, like therapists, I think they're required in America to do 30 hours of continuing education units, CEUs, every 3 years. So 30 units every 3 years. And so 30 units, I think is like 30 hours. And I did like 100 hours in a week. And then, I don't know, I can hyper-focus, right? That's kind of how my brain works if I really am interested in something. So I dove in deep and I took like literally every course I could find. It was COVID, pandemic vibes, and I just went hard because I wanted to see if it's okay to leave AA. Is this okay? Can we graduate from recovery? I felt like I need to go, like it's over, but like nobody would say it. Like where all these addiction specialists that have all the huge followings, the huge platforms, have written all the books, have been talking about addiction for decades. Like none of them will talk about graduating recovery. And I'm like, but it just seems obvious because any other recovery, like you finish. You might always have a vulnerability, but you finish. Like it's a phase, like you're done. I just felt like there should be a period where we're out of recovery. We're no longer in the ICU and we're out in life. So I think graduating from recovery should be a thing. I think we should celebrate it. I got a beautiful video from somebody in my DMs recently who burned their books. They were in recovery in AA for more than half their life, and they burned their books, their AA books, and it was really liberating for them. And they said that they cried in the beginning, and then they cried because they got smoke in their eyes. It was a lot of books. I think that there's something so symbolic and beautiful about having a ceremony like that. I did not burn my books. I studied like crazy. I hit the books. I hit the books because I'm like, why won't anybody tell me that this is okay? Why are all the people being silent about this? What is this elephant in the room of like recovery? Nobody will say we can leave. They only say go. They only like perpetuate it. They say go, and if you leave, you're going to have to go back because you're going to relapse and die or whatever. And so I think that graduating from recovery is a phase that should be celebrated, especially when we're against all odds and that everybody around us is not really mentioning it. It's like hush, hush. So those of us who have that intuitive hit that it's time to go, that we no longer vibe with it, or we feel that we're done, or for whatever reason why we're leaving AA, and then we actually do leave, I think we're incredibly courageous. To me, it's one of the most courageous things I've ever done, to leave our community when we know we're going to get shunned by the tribe. I mean, that goes against our DNA in a way. You know, we have that tribal bit in our DNA. And then, well, who are we without AA, right? There's the identity crisis for a lot of us. I certainly had an identity crisis and all the emotions. There's the anger. Like, what the fuck did I just go through? What was that? What happened to me? To me, it was like a whiplash. It was like, whoa, what was I in? And realizing, learning about what a high control group is in the first place, studying cults and cult psychology, and like learning the tactics and seeing how vulnerable our minds are, and then feeling like humiliated, and then wanting to protect myself, and then feeling all the shame about having believed it all the baloney for so long, and then the guilt, feeling like I couldn't say anything, that I needed to keep my obedience and silence and anonymity to respect the group that I not only no longer believed in, felt like it was based all on crap, but also I felt almost like committed, like it was still controlling me when I left because I felt like I had to stay anonymous. So it was this really weird experience, and a lot of emotions. A lot of us have a lot of those emotions, especially the guilt. The guilt can run really deep after we leave AA. And so I think we should be celebrated. I think it's tremendously courageous. So if you left AA, I'm clapping for you right now. Go ahead, clap for yourself. Let's do this. Let's fucking celebrate this. And I think that, it's really hard because everybody in AA is telling us it's forever and basically we're going to die if we're going to leave. And then when we decide that maybe that's not true and we start exploring, it's like when the bird first flies out of the nest or something, it's like, wait, maybe I'm not going to die and I can go. Maybe that was all baloney. Maybe that was all BS. And so I think we should celebrate it. And if you're scared, really scared like I was, I found therapy to be really, really helpful. I had therapy for the first 6 months after leaving AA, and my therapist helped me deprogram that false belief that I would die if I left. And I was supported. I needed that. It was really hard to not have the community. I went through like a major loss of that, and the structure and the so-called daily reprieve from the connection. And yeah, it was actually very regulating for my nervous system to be in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. So I got to learn how to regulate my nervous system without AA. That was a whole process. I got these assessments. I found out that I'm autistic and ADHD. So that opened up a lot of understanding for me. Not that I was excited to put myself into another label. And in fact, I don't. I hold all labels loosely now. It's a little bit of PTSD from AA, from living in that alcoholic label for so long, for a decade, that now I think is totally baloney. It's literally just not a medical diagnosis in America. So I no longer use the word alcoholic or alcoholism. And when I found out that I'm actually neurodivergent, and that better explains my brain than so-called alcoholism, like it's called loaded language, by the way, when you're in a high control group or a cult, they have all this loaded language. Like Bill literally made up a bunch of words like dry drunk, untreated alcoholism. Even the way that we think about alcoholism in America is not what alcohol use disorder is. So there's a lot to unpack there. You probably know by now I have an online course for deprogramming AA. I'll link it below if you want more help from me. But these daily dogma detoxes, I hope that they're also giving you a lot to unpack. I want to share everything here and work through it with you. But if you're like me and you like to just dive into a course and binge through and get the whole experience, that course is available. I do think that we should be able to know that it's okay to leave AA, know that it's okay to trust ourselves, and that we should celebrate it. I'm really proud that I left AA. It's so weird that people in AA don't want me to talk about it. I mean, I get it, right? I get it. That they're shunning me, that they're shaming me, that they're silencing me, that they're trying to control me, that they don't want me to talk about it, and they throw all their dogma at me. I call them the dogma defenders. It's so interesting to be outside of an ideology and to be met with all the high control, and to see the control of the group from the outside, from a very deprogrammed place where I'm like, oh my God, they're doing guilt control, they're doing this, they're doing all these different tactics. And it's kind of gross. It makes nothing about AA look attractive to me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be slipping into people's DMs or all over their social media trying to control them and try to tell them why they shouldn't think what they think, and that my high control group is the way it is and the only way it is, and you should come back. So yeah, it's a whole weird thing, isn't it? It's so weird. One of the weirdest things I think about leaving AA is just that it's so silent and anonymous, and that nobody will really just outright say it, that you can leave. It's safe to trust yourself. If your gut says that you can leave, then you can trust that. If you're scared and need help in that process, get a therapist, get a non-12-step therapist, and definitely a non-AA therapist, because you need somebody out of the programming to help you out of the programming. There's a lot of support that we can do. There's a lot of cool Facebook groups. So therapy's great. I have that course. I'll link it below. There's deprogramming Facebook groups. Go to Facebook, look up the groups. They're deprogramming AA, leaving AA. A lot of people are discussing their experiences, so you don't have to do this alone. You can be in community. And I'm celebrating you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself. I just think we're so courageous, because nobody ever said it was possible. And then something in us was like, yeah, I think it's possible. In fact, I'm done. I'm done. I'm moving on. Even if nobody will even admit it's a thing, it's going to be a thing for me. And that's why I think that, like, I'm so proud of us. I'm like, wow, something in us, so this little lion inside of us is like, no, it's okay. It's okay to trust myself and to move on. And so I think that we're pretty badass. That's just my opinion. It honestly doesn't even matter what I think. It only matters what you think. I'm literally only sharing my thoughts with you in hopes that you get clear on more on your thoughts. That maybe there's something I say that will spark something in you that'll send you down your own research rabbit hole, or will bring up memories in you, or will unlock a freedom in you, because this is all about critical thinking. We're done, aren't we? We don't want a guru. We don't want a boss. We don't want a high control group. We don't want a cult. I didn't even want to join anything after that. I was like, all this PTSD, I was like, oh geez, like I don't want to join anything. I'm done. Like, I felt like super dunzo after leaving AA. I just felt so played and like embarrassed and also skeptical of everything. And that skepticism has turned into a beautiful critical thinking that I have now, where I examine lots of perspectives and I take my own. I'm trying not to fall into any ideologies at all. So I really think that critical thinking is the vibe, and I encourage you to critical think. And critical thinking unlocks so much freedom for us. And if you haven't celebrated yet that you left recovery, that you left AA, that's the invitation here with this episode. It is to celebrate, whether it's by burning your books, whether it's by blocking everybody on your Facebook that's from AA. I know some people did that. They went through their social media and they blocked everybody from the rooms. I didn't do that. I just straight up posted on my social media and let them block me. So we all have our different ways of doing it. My way was hitting the books. I wanted to get super intellectual because I wanted to go deep into the deprogramming in a way that felt right for me. Plus I had, it was COVID. So we were kind of all at home doing our thing, right? So that's what I did. So what are you going to do? What's right for you? If you do celebrate your leaving recovery, please share it with me. I'd be so down to celebrate with you. Send me a message. Let's celebrate. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of all of us. And there really is so many of us. It's just the secret group that nobody's even talking about, because we're not really a group. We're just individuals who left the group, and we're doing our own thing. And I think that is so cool. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next episode.